fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way. And I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
The problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money.
Terence Crawford lashed out at Floyd Mayweather after sparring footage surfaced, saying he felt disrespected by someone who claimed to be cool with him. He voiced his frustration that private training moments were made public and made it clear he expected better from a fellow champion.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, and how he was acting, being that, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, we was all cool at one point in time. And, when the Errol Spence fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, signed, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way. And I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
Eddie Hearn's suggestion that Terence Crawford should retire highlights the divide among boxing fans and insiders over his future. Hearn praises Crawford's flawless legacy, pointing out that he has dominated multiple divisions, beaten top opponents, and cemented his place among the greats, making retirement at this high point the perfect way to preserve his image. At the same time, Hearn admits the financial pull is hard to ignore, with Saudi money and cross-promotional mega events offering Crawford the chance to earn record-breaking paydays even if those fights don't add to his legacy. As a seasoned promoter, Hearn knows exactly how tough that choice can be.
Sorry?
Should Crawford retire?
Do you know what? Someone said the other day, and it's very true, because I actually said it about Usyk. We've got a real tendency, haven't we, to kind of try and retire people off? Do you know what I mean? Like I said with Usyk, I think now he should retire. And everyone's like, why do you want him to retire? It's like, I just think it's a great way to go out. I actually also think that Crawford could move down and win a world title at 160. And that would make him, what, 6 division champ? 5, 35, 40, 47, 54, 6 division champion. But the problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money. And there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money. So Shakur, who was obviously very close to him, seemed to say, so maybe that's it.
Floyd Schofield believes Terence Crawford should step away while on top, saying he has already done everything needed to define greatness, rising to pound-for-pound status, winning titles in multiple divisions, and defeating the best of his era. Schofield isn't questioning Crawford's skills, but warns that fighting on could bring unnecessary risk. If Crawford does continue, he feels it should only be against fresh challengers like Virgil Ortiz or Frank Martin, reflecting the new generation eager to test him. Still, Schofield speaks with respect, noting Crawford has nothing left to prove and that retiring now would protect his flawless legacy at its peak.
I feel like Crawford, he could retire if he wants. I feel like if he does get another fight, I would love to see him in there with Virgil or Gerard. I feel like those are both great fights, but those are fights we just got to see. We just got to see those fights before. I feel like those are the only 2 fights I would entertain.
Not a rematch, maybe a rematch with Crawford and Canelo?
I feel like it wasn't close enough. It wasn't close enough.
Really?
If it was close, maybe, but it just was like, it wasn't close.
The debate over a dream fight between prime Floyd Mayweather and prime Terence Crawford continues to spark arguments among fans, with many seeing it as the ultimate clash of styles and eras. Mayweather's flawless defense and ring IQ made him nearly impossible to beat, while Crawford's versatility and killer instinct have allowed him to break down every opponent he's faced. Still, the reality is clear. Floyd is well past his prime, lacking the speed and stamina he once had, so any modern matchup would be more spectacle than true contest. That's why most agree the idea of their primes colliding will remain nothing more than a fantasy.
So yeah, everybody, so this is a good question that the ring put out. So Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, a fantasy fight that will never happen. Now, this is a really good question. Who will win between these two? Me personally, if this was old Floyd Mayweather, well, I'm going to say pretty boy Floyd. I'm talking about like the younger version of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather wins. You're talking probably prime Floyd Mayweather versus prime Terence Crawford. You could see Floyd Mayweather beating Terence Crawford, but you're talking about money Floyd versus Terence Crawford. I see Terence Crawford stopping him in the later rounds due to Floyd Mayweather's passive style and Philly shell. I believe he'll melt. Terence Crawford would just break him, I think. People forget what Manny Pacquiao was able to do on Floyd Mayweather, have success with him certain parts of the fight, and people just need to see, Floyd Mayweather's, I would say, fights, later down the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement and footwork. This is the thing. A lot of people were thinking, oh, nobody beats Floyd. Or if you try to compare somebody else, no, this man will beat Floyd. Floyd would beat everybody. I don't think it's a case of Terence Crawford, everybody. I think Terence Crawford would have been the man to actually beat Floyd. Honestly, for what he did to Canelo Alvarez, he beat a 168 Canelo Alvarez. 168 Canelo Alvarez.
Analysts note that stats and titles, while impressive, don't always settle the question of greatness in a direct matchup. Floyd Mayweather's 50-0 record and his ability to stay unbeaten across eras is unmatched, while Terence Crawford's achievement of becoming undisputed in multiple divisions is something Floyd never did. The challenge is that their accomplishments came in different times and can't be compared one-to-one. Floyd's legacy is tied to global stars and massive pay-per-view success, while Crawford's is defined by dominant, decisive wins. In the end, analysts argue that being more decorated on paper doesn't automatically mean being the better fighter. It ultimately comes down to style, context, and timing.
Floyd Mayweather versus Terence Crawford is the topic of this video, and someone posted this: number of world champion fighters beaten, Floyd with 23, Terence with only 11. But my response to this is, being more accomplished does not mean you're better than someone. By example, Canelo has 18 former world champions beaten, Terence has 11. So you could argue that Canelo's more accomplished. Meanwhile, Terence just whooped him over the course of 12 rounds over the weekend. We all saw it. Plus, more accomplished fighters lose to lesser accomplished fighters all the time, so that's a bad argument. Let's talk skill for skill. Terence Crawford has knockout power in both hands. He can switch stances. He's not a stationary target. He has good footwork. He knows how to counterpunch. He knows how to fight on the outside and on the inside. He can make it dirty. He knows how to box and he knows how to fight. There's a difference. Guys like Shakur Stevenson, for example, they know how to box. When it comes to actually getting down and dirty, the jury is still out on one Shakur Stevenson, just by example. Terence Crawford, I think, if you look at the names on Floyd's list here, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, Marcos Maidana, Cotto, and the list goes on and on, I think Terence Crawford has a shot at beating all those guys. I don't think anybody on that list jumps off the page and goes, oh my God, I think he smokes Terence Crawford. You can't say that about anybody on any of these guys' lists and names here. So yeah, that's my take on this, man. Maybe the only guy is Gennady Golovkin. I could see Gennady Golovkin giving Terence a really hard fight, especially at that weight. But remember, Canelo lost to Gennady. Gennady shouldn't even be on this list. He's only on the list because the judges are in Canelo's back pocket. So, that's a whole nother argument. But yeah, that's my take on this, guys. Skill for skill, Terence Crawford might be one of the best of all time, and that's okay. It's okay to accept that, guys. It's fine. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
Zab Judah's opinion stands out because he's faced Mayweather himself and knows what it takes at the highest level. He now calls Crawford the king of this era, stressing that every generation has its own standout. Judah even reminded fans that Canelo Alvarez once hinted Crawford might be better than Floyd, a comment that fueled endless debate. For Judah, Crawford's dominance across multiple divisions shows his complete skill set, as he's carried his power, timing, and composure every step of the way. His praise feels like a passing of the torch, acknowledging that while Floyd ruled his era, Crawford now sits on the throne.
Punch to knock him out, you know what I'm saying? The size will be a factor. None of that was nothing.
How did you score it?
Huh?
How did you score the fight?
I think I gave Canelo about 3 rounds. About
Really?
3 rounds. Yeah, about 3
Yeah.
rounds. How did you score? You just score about sound about fair?
What's that?
Sounds about right?
I had it closer, but there's loads of different scores.
Okay, I had 2 rounds.
You gave him 2 rounds.
I had 2 rounds. Yeah, he didn't do anything. I gave him a possible 3 rounds. So if I play space, we gave him 2 on a possible.
Where did you put him in the all-time list? 5-weight world champion,
Who?
3-weight undisputed, Terence Crawford.
Who?
Terence Crawford.
He's number 1 right now. He's number 1. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What do you think?
He's not lying. He fought him. He should know. How can somebody tell somebody that fought both of these guys, that he know?
Yeah.
If anybody would know, Canelo would know.
What do you think's next for both?
I don't know.
Too early? You like to see a rematch?
Not rematch. Rematches always sound good. But in a rematch, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Matter of fact, in a rematch, I'm predicting stoppage earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think?
I think so too. Yeah. I think so.
Sap.
My boy's a dog.
Appreciate it.
Trust me.
Thank you.
That's right.
Crawford stressed that Canelo's view holds more weight than most opinions because he shared the ring with both men. At the same time, Crawford pointed out the key difference in circumstances. Floyd fought Canelo when he was still young and developing, while Crawford faced him as a seasoned champion at super middleweight. That timing matters, as it shapes the outcome of fights. By highlighting this, Crawford defended the value of his own win while still giving respect to the historical context of Mayweather's victory.
He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. One where he felt like he was at the best, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, I don't know, I don't go off of that. Floyd is the best fighter, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer.
Jeff Mayweather defends Floyd by stressing that context gets lost when people compare careers. He points out that when Floyd fought Canelo, he was already past his physical prime, relying more on experience, reflexes, and timing than raw speed or explosiveness. Even then, Floyd shut down a dangerous young opponent, a fact Jeff says should never be overlooked. For him, it's unfair to compare the Canelo Floyd faced with the one Crawford beat, since both were at completely different stages of their careers. His view highlights how boxing history often gets reshaped without considering the full circumstances of each fight.
Well, also if we remember, Canelo that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other 2 judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So
what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game,
very
obviously.
Young, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah,
to a man that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people, but he.
His career.
But
Are you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 36. That's not your prime.
did he lose?
20s.
I mean,
Your prime is in your 20s.
it's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, so, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
But I mean, don't you? I
To
mean,
make himself look like he did something great.
Buddy McGirt highlighted Crawford's brilliance by noting how he dictated every part of the fight, controlling the pace, distance, and exchanges from start to finish. Unlike Canelo's previous opponents who often fell into his rhythm, Crawford never let him take charge. McGirt said this level of control was reminiscent of Floyd, but with Crawford's added aggression and finishing ability. To him, the win was more than just a victory. It was a clear statement that Crawford deserves to be mentioned among the greatest technical fighters in boxing history.
Yes.
Like, what fight were they watching?
Right.
I mean, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what some of these guys be doing in this game, man. Some people, in situations like that, they should ask them, listen, just turn in your license, bro. Because there's no way in hell the fight was that close.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It's just, it's not fair. It's not fair. You get a guy like Terrence got here and dominate from beginning to end, and then you find out he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary, man.
It is, and you see how you just mentioned scary. Now, a lot of people are saying, buddy, that type of beating, he's not going to want a rematch. But looking at those gold cards and knowing that, hey, you wasn't too far behind, even though, he did mention that, he's better than Mayweather. But, I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like that was such a beating that Canelo wouldn't want a rematch?
No, I think that, in all honesty, personally, I think that Canelo's at that stage in his career right now, that it's a rematch he don't need. He don't need it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What we saw that night, that's the stage Canelo's at right now. I mean, he's fought everybody, he did everything, but, you know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He lost it to Terrence fair and square, and he passed the torch. So if you're gonna have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. He fought Terrence and nobody else would.
Analysts noted that Floyd Mayweather's global fame came not only from his skills, but from his charisma and ability to play both hero and villain, with fans tuning in either to admire his brilliance or to see him lose. His undefeated streak added to that aura. Crawford, on the other hand, has never been a huge pay-per-view draw, but many argue this shouldn't overshadow his talent. Some even suggest Crawford may be the more gifted fighter, thanks to his ability to switch stances, control distance, and finish opponents with precision. While Floyd relied on defense and caution, Crawford is calculated but ruthless, making him just as hard to beat and often more exciting to watch.
Terrence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Who wins this fight? I'm going with Terrence Crawford, and I don't think that's unpopular or crazy to say. I think most people will agree with me. I understand Floyd Mayweather has a lot of fans out there, but the truth is, as great as Floyd Mayweather is, Terrence Crawford is one of one. And I say that because who else has knockout power in both hands, is able to switch stances between orthodox and southpaw so seamlessly while having great footwork? It's not like Terrence Crawford is some stationary target or a flat-footed fighter that's going to be chasing Floyd around. Terrence Crawford knows how to cut the ring off. He has tremendous ring IQ. And not only is he a great boxer, but he's a great fighter. He'll be able to make it dirty. If he is on the inside with Floyd, that power will carry him far. And I just don't see how Floyd will be able to beat a Terrence Crawford. I really don't see it. I understand Floyd's defense is incredible, but he is smaller than Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford would have a significant reach advantage on Floyd Mayweather. I believe Terrence Crawford would also be taller than Floyd Mayweather. as well as all the skillful and technical aspects of what I just laid out prior. So I don't understand how anybody could pick Floyd Mayweather to beat Terence Crawford. Styles make fights, and I believe Terence has the style to beat one Floyd Mayweather. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. Join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.